Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here with a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Shum video today. Today gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know today though some of the big releases that come out are Crazy Rich Asians. I don't believe there's any retail exclusive editions of that one, but I'm gonna check to see. Also the film Kin comes out today, and I believe Best Buy has an exclusive Steelbook release of that one. Also though, at the end of this video is gonna be a whole bunch of new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. I'm reviewing some really cool stuff like the brand new Candyman Collector's Edition, as well as the Urban Legend films on Blu-ray. Also though, I'm going to be talking about the brand new release of the new Dread Central title, Lasso. It's a really cool movie. I'm going to talk about that in this video, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff as well. In the comments below though, let me know what you guys thought of the titles that I reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, you know, what your thoughts of them were. Also though, those wondering, I will be doing a Black Friday Madness video, going to Best Buy, Target, Walmart, all that kind of stuff. So that video will be going up, you know, I think like really late Thursday evening or early Friday morning. So definitely stay tuned for that. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Walmart we go. And I'm going to Walmart first today because like I usually go to Target first, but the one Target I go to over here lately hasn't had the new releases out at all. So it's like I'm going to go to a different one today and kind of shake it up and sort of change it around just to hopefully the different location will have all the new releases out. I think I'm actually going to end up going to another Walmart because this one doesn't have out all the stuff. They're doing like they did, you know, a couple months back where like it only has the slipcover in here. You have to actually get the thing from them. But there's one like horror movie down there I think called Malicious, which came out, which I kind of thought I might have wanted to get. I'm not sure, but I don't see it put out, so I'm probably going to go to a different spot to try and find that, because there definitely is like a lot of spaces of things that are not out yet. They do have, like I said, Crazy Rich Asians though. This is $22.96 here, and they have Kin. It's just funny seeing them with like, you know, just that slip covers and that's it in them. But like I said, probably going to head later to another location just to see what they have. Into the second Walmart we go. Well, I have to say this other Walmart has this unexplainable bad smell. I mean, I think somebody, I don't know what happened in here, but there's something weird, really odd smell that is totally unexplainable. Yeah, but luckily enough, this one has all the stuff out, and this one, you know, you don't have to get them out of the back or anything. They're not in those kind of cases. But they have the 4K of Crazy Rich Asians here for $29.96 here. Also, though, this one came out today. This movie called High Voltage, which stars David Arquette and Luke Wilson, which looks kind of interesting, though. Should be getting a copy of that one to review soon, but definitely interested in seeing that one. Also, this one, the Orphan Horse released today. The anime here, Fireworks. See, Alpha, that was last week. Also, Little Italy came out. I actually like this movie. I reviewed this one a couple weeks back. It stars, you know, Emma Roberts. I actually really like this movie. This is the one that I was interested in getting that they didn't have out at the other Walmart. This one here called Malicious. Or I'm saying this one totally wrong. Malicious. Saying it totally wrong. But this one released today, which I might get this, saying it totally wrong. But also the Domestics came out today. We'll be talking about this one at the end of this video, but yeah, this one definitely seems to have out all the stuff as far as I can tell, but I don't really think there's anything else in here too different today as far as I can tell though, new release wise. Yeah, and this was called Malicious. I don't know why I was screwing that up. Sometimes there's a lot of people around, or I'm like flustered or something like that. I like pronounce things wrong, or like totally can't say something. So I was really screwing this one up big time over there. But in here though, I don't see all this stuff like covered over yet, because like a lot of times in the past on Tuesdays, like the Black Friday stuff is like always here in the middle, like with like tarps and stuff over, but it doesn't seem like they have any of that kind of stuff this year, at least as far as I can tell. The other location didn't either, you know, all the stuff tarped over. Like some of these things, maybe these could be the Black Friday stuff, but I'm not sure though. But like I said, I ended up picking up this one. I'm probably going to come to this location more because it seems like the other one that I've always gone to now is changing back to that stuff. We have to get it out of the back, or they have to get it for you. So that's kind of weird. It was like that for like maybe like 5 or 6 months back, and then they stopped doing that. But now it seems like again they've gone back to that process of having to get it out of the back and everything. Into Target we go. One thing I meant to show too is they have these really cool VHS boxes, like they're done like the VHS, old school VHS boxes, but actually have t-shirts in here for like Robocop, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This one here for Animal House, as well as Beetlejuice. This one here, this Beetlejuice one's actually really cool. It's like Beetlejuice with like the strip club, Dante's Inferno behind him. And I think they're all look like they're through Funko. This Gremlins one here, and Rocky. It's just cool to see all these VHS style boxes of things lately. There's been so much of that. At some point, they're going to be having those VHS Blu-rays. I'm not sure when they're going to be getting those in, but I have to keep looking. But hopefully this one has all the new releases out. But in here, though, they have in the front Crazy Rich Asians. That one's $22.99. But I'm going to head over to the actual section to see if they have anything else different over there. And I see some of the Black Friday things out here already, like some of the movie stands. They've done that in the past. I don't think they're going to be the same price now, though. Like, they don't cut down the prices till, yeah, see, these ones are $4, so maybe these are already the prices that they're going to be on Black Friday, some of these specific ones. Like, there's these holiday ones over here. It seems to be mainly holiday titles over here, and then these, like, Jurassic World, Skyscraper, $15, Baby Driver, Spy Who Dumped Me, $15. So I don't know if, like, on Thursday evening these ones are going to be the exact same price, or they're going to be down to like $9. I think they might be going down a little bit more, but I'm not sure. Maybe this is the actual price. So, like, let me know in the comments below if these are the prices these are going to be, or they're going to actually be a little less on, you know, Black Friday on the actual evening. Because if they are, it's definitely better to get them right now, especially some of the 4K ones. But in here, though, they have Crazy Rich Asians, $22.99 here for the Blu-ray, and then the 4K of Kin here, that one's $24.99. They don't have that one out. But I'm going to talk about this at the end of this video. I actually really like this movie a lot. They do actually have now Stranger Things out on the shelf. I've still yet to see the 4K one of that one anywhere, though. Other than that, though, it seems like anything else new I can see today. I don't know if that Narcos came out today. And I think Longmire, the 6th and final season, released today. And over here they have Little Italy as well, but they have the Blu-ray of that. And they also have over here Blindspotting here today. That one's $19.99 for that one as well. But lately there's so much retro stuff. Like, they re-released Crossfire. Like, I remember this as a kid. I never had this game, but it had like an amazing commercial. I feel like the commercial might have been better than the actual game, but that's so funny to see this again, because, like, I think this is like, I think this is just brought back for the first time in years, because as far as I remember, they haven't produced this game in forever. Let me know in the comments below, though, like, when was the last time this was produced, or if it was around and I just didn't realize it. But I'm pretty sure this has been going a long time. That's, I don't know, that's kind of cool to see that. And this past weekend I saw a couple of different films. The first one I saw was the film Widows, which stars Viola Davis. It's essentially, though, about her husband and these two other guys who end up robbing this money. And in the very beginning of the movie, though, you see them getting surrounded by these cops, and then the van with all the money ends up blowing up, and they all end up dying. And it's essentially, though, the people that they stole the money from come to Viola Davis, who's Liam Neeson's wife in the film, and say, you know, you owe us all this money your husband stole from us. And, you know, and they only originally know about her. They don't know who the other guys were who stole the money with him. But essentially, though, they're like, you got to get us this money. If you don't get in this amount of time, you know, it's not going to be good. So it's essentially about, you know, Viola Davis trying to figure out how she's going to get them this money. And she got this book from the husband, you know, that was in the safe locker that had like a safety deposit box, which had like the next job that he was planning on doing. So essentially she goes and finds the other wives and, you know, says to them, you know, if they don't get this money, they're going to come for you next and your family. So they all have to work together to plan on how they're going to get this money. I thought it was actually a pretty interesting movie. The one bad guy in the movie was the guy who was the star of Get Out, and he plays like this mean, like ruthless guy, such a different character than he was in Get Out. But I actually really liked that movie. I thought it was a really interesting movie. The other one that I saw was the movie starring Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne called Instant Family. It's from the same director who did the Daddy's Home films. You know, with Daddy's Home movies, they were kind of like, they were comedies, and then they had like a lot of like slapstick kind of goofy stuff with like Will Ferrell's character like falling down the stairs or going through the wall, like really, and like these, like a big, like, I think there was like a reindeer that got in the house, and it was like real over the top, like goofy kind of stuff. This movie, you know, was still a comedy, but much more serious. And it was about, you know, Mark Wahlberg's character and his wife Rose Byrne, who are trying to figure out if what they were going to do about if they were going to have a kid or they was going to go into adoption. And they ended up going and finding this girl from foster care that they ended up adopting, who's a teenager, and little they know, though, that she has two younger siblings, and, you know, they don't want to like not take them, so they end up taking them and, you know, fostering them. it's kind of all about the stuff that they go through, and kind of it changes their lives, and you know how different things are for them, and you know all that kind of stuff. I actually thought it was actually really well done, and like I said, a much more serious movie than the director's past movies, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like the same type of, you know, humor and everything, but actually really well done, and a very sad kind of stuff going on as well in it. If you guys saw either of those films though, let me know what you guys thought of them, or let me know what you guys saw this past weekend if you guys got to see anything. Into Best Buy we go, and as you can see, they already have people camping out over here. There's already tents and everything all out, you know, and it's like 2:30 or something like that. I always feel like it's gonna be like, you know, Mr. Bean, where like there's actually, you know, nobody in it, and they put like a doll in it, and then they just like pretend like they're in there. But yeah, there's already tents up. And they have over here Crazy Rich Asians. That one is $22.99. They also have Dog Days. They don't have it put out here. I'm going to talk about that one next Tuesday. I just got a copy of that, but I saw that in theaters as well. That was actually a really, really good movie. It's only on DVD though. But in the front of the store though, they had the Kin, Steelbooks. They had the standard edition Steelbook for the Blu-ray. They also had a 4K Steelbook. You don't see that as often lately. A lot of times you only see when there's a Steelbook, you only see the 4K version of that. That's really cool though. They have that. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about this at the end of the video. Other than that though, I don't really see anything else in here too different today, as far as I can tell though. So anyway though guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, let me know what you guys picked up, if you guys picked up any DVDs or Blu-rays today. Also let me know too, like I said, anything Black Friday specifically you guys would like me to show in the video and all that. Also though, like I always say, let me know too what you guys thought of the DVDs and Blu-rays that I reviewed at the end of this video. You know, what you guys thought of them, if you guys have seen any of them. Anyway though, now stay tuned for the reviews. And before we get on to the reviews, Comet TV and Charge sent over some cool promo items to let you guys know about their streaming service. On Comet TV, they play a whole lot of different science fiction movies, TV shows. They're playing things on there like Babylon 5 is on there daily at noon. And they're also on Charge. They play a lot of different TV shows as well. And one of the shows they're having on there now is Chips. But they sent over this cool mock-up VHS to promote the Flash Gordon Marathon. They've made these mock-up VHSs in the past, but they're having the Thanksgiving Marathon for the series on there. And they also sent over a Babylon 5 hat here, as well as these cool Chips sunglasses like they wear on the show, like, you know, replica type glasses. So that's really cool. They also sent over this classified document that has like my name on there, and in here they have like these print-ups for the show Space 1999, which is on Comet TV, as well as Babylon 5. And like I said, just want you guys know about those ones. You can find out more about them on the website below. Now though, on to the reviews. Now the first one I got here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. It's the collector's edition here of the film Candyman. This is one of those movies, I have absolutely loved this movie forever. Like, you know, people have asked me too, like, what are some like my favorite horror movies? This is one of those movies that's probably like in like my top 20 horror movies of all time. And I feel like this is one of those movies too, where everything about this is perfect. Like with the casting, the music, everything about this is like everything the way it was put together. It's also just such a creepy movie, just like the build up to what's happening in this, and like where they shot this, the locations, everything about this movie, like I said, is absolutely perfect. This is essentially though about Virginia Madsen, who is this grad student who's doing like this thesis paper on like urban legends and things like that, like local legends, and she ends up going to Cabrini Green, which is in the projects. And she kind of starts to find out about this legend about the character of Candyman, who was played by Tony Todd, and kind of what had happened there in the past. And she's toured around by this kid, and she looks around at the place, and a lot of weird stuff has happened around there as well, like in like these bathrooms outside, like some bad things that happen. There's all kind of bad stuff that happen all around in this area. But essentially, though, it's said that if you say the name Candyman, you know, look in the mirror and say the name 5 times, then Candyman would come and, like, you know, kill you. Of course, though, she ends up summoning him, and it's kind of what ends up happening to her because of this. And like, you know, it's just like I said, such a creepy movie. And there was 2 sequels of the movie as well. I liked both of the sequels, but none of them could top the original. Like it's just like, and the stuff too with like the bees too in this, like I love this, and Tony Todd was so good in this movie. This is an absolute, like, if you guys have never seen this movie though, an absolute must watch. And there's so many features on this one. It has on here though, the first disc has the theatrical cut, a brand new 2K restoration restoration of it looks amazing. They did such a good job cleaning it up. And it has on here disc 2, the unrated cut, which I believe from what I was reading is the cut that was released in the UK in the past. Was like it had like some extended gore and stuff in it, but I think that's where that cut had came from. I might not be 100% right on that, but that's what I believe from when I was looking into it. That's where that cut originated from. But it's really cool that they included both the cuts of the movie on here. But feature-wise, though, it has a commentary track on here with the director and Tony Todd, a brand new commentary. It also has the let me think of some of the other things that I was on here. It has a brand new interview with Tony Todd. It has an actor too with the kid. I don't think it says it on the back, but an interview with the actor who is the kid who goes and shows Virginia Madsen's character all around the Cabrini Green and everything. He's on here. Is an interview with interview on here with Virginia Madsen as well, and some interviews on here with the makeup, the designer who did the makeup effects on this one. So lots and lots of stuff on here. Just a really, really great release. Also, it has the original, reversible artwork for the original poster for the movie. But just one of those movies, if you guys have not seen it, an absolute must-watch. The next ones here are from Scream Factory as well, and this is the collector's edition here of Urban Legend. And this is a movie too. I've always loved this movie because this was one of the, it wasn't the very first, but one of the earliest R-rated movies that I got to see in theaters. Not one of the first R-rated movies that I ever saw, but the first one that I saw in theaters. The actual first one was Alien Resurrection. And this is like one of because it was like after Alien Resurrections, I did not see many other ones in theaters. For some reason I was allowed to see that one. But this one, I remember this came out on my birthday weekend, and I really, really wanted to see this in theaters, and my dad was like, all right, and I found out later he'd see the movies before, and I didn't even know that he would pre-watch them in theaters to make sure they were all right. But essentially, though, this is about his kids at this college, and they're ended up getting Robert Englund's character is giving lectures on urban legends and all, kind of talking about, the pop rocks and all the kind of stuff that you'd heard. But people in the school are getting killed off in these ways that are like the urban legends. Like at the Lookout Point, and it's all about this one girl, though, who is being kind of taunted by this all going on around her. But this is a really fun slasher movie. Jared Leto is in this movie. Alyssa Witt is in this movie. Rebecca Gayheart is in the film. I always loved Loretta Devine's character in here playing the cop. She was one of my favorite parts of this movie. She's in the sequel as well, as I'm going to be talking about in a second. But they did an amazing job, though, on the features on this one as well. There's so much stuff on here. There's a feature-length documentary. I think it's it's in sections, but I think it's well over an hour and a half of interviews on here with Jamie Blanks, Rebecca Gayheart, Loretta Levine, Tara Reid, Michael Rosenberg, Robert Englund, Danielle Harris, the executive producers behind, and they also has brand new behind the scenes footage. It has in 3 parts. I think it's 45 minutes or so of behind the scenes stuff. So that was really cool that they found that stuff to put on here. Also has a brand new commentary track on here with the director on this one. It has the archival commentary track from the DVD from years and years back when that one first came out. But just such a fun, slasher film, kind of in the style of Scream a little bit. But like I said, it's all these urban legends, and it's a whodunit of who is the killer and everything in this movie. But a great release here, and a really, really fun movie. Also, though, they released the sequel here, Urban Legend Final Cut, which Anthony Anderson was in this movie. I remember, I don't know if I saw this one in theaters, but I remember liking this one just as much because this one deals with film school, and I always love things that have to do with filmmaking and, all that kind of stuff. That's one of my favorite kind of movies. I always love film things when they're making movies and there's problems and all that kind of stuff. But this one was basically, though, the one girl had to do a project on, basically all the kids are doing thesis projects for their big school, thesis project, and they're all doing them on different types of stuff, and the one guy's doing them on a killer on this airplane, and she's going to do one on urban legends and the movie that's dealing with killers and that kind of stuff. But of course, though, at this school now people are dying off in urban legend type ways, and there's these crazy deaths. And they do a good job too when you don't know if you're seeing the movie that they're making or if it's an actual death that's happening. And the deaths too are really over the top and crazy. I don't know, I always really like this sequel. I always just thought this was a really, really fun movie. Loretta Devine is in this one as well. This also has a bunch of different interviews on here as well. Loretta Devine and Rebecca Gayheart, the producer, on here. This has deleted scenes, commentary track, making a featurette, and a gag reel on this. This one I just want you guys to know is available from Shout Factory, and this is a collection here, the Ernie Kovacs, the Essential Collection here, and this has on here lots of different stuff in here. Inside it's a big, collection here, and it has episodes from his local and national morning shows, episodes from these NBC primetime special, Kovacs on Music, 5 ABC TV special, the color versions of his legendary silent show, Eugene, 8 bonus sketches on here, 3 complete episodes of his offbeat game show, Take a Good Look, 2011 American Cinemarquee panel. So lots and lots of features on here. Like I said, just to let you guys know this was available if you guys were interested in this release. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate, and it's the 4K Ultra HD edition of the film here, Kin. This one is a little tough to explain because I don't want to give everything away, but essentially though, this is about this kid lives with his father, played by Dennis Quaid, and this kid goes out every day, going to abandoned buildings and stuff where he's not supposed to go, and he steers like copper pipes, wiring and stuff to sell at this junkyard. But one day he ends up finding this weapon, this alien type weapon. He doesn't know what it is, but he ends up taking it home. And when he gets home though, his father, who's played by Dennis Quaid, says his brother is going to be living there now for a while. He just got out of prison, but not to mess around with him because he's gotten in a lot of trouble in the past, and just to kind of avoid him if he can, because he doesn't want him to get roped into what kind of stuff he could be into. But of course though, the brother who just got out of prison owes all this money to James Franco, who plays this really bad guy in this movie, because James Franco was keeping him safe in prison, making sure nothing bad happened to him. So he owes him like 60 grand or something, and he's immediately saying to this guy, the brother got out of prison, you owe me all this money, and if you don't get it for me, I'm going to go to your father and your brother, and I'm going to try and get it from them. And of course it becomes this huge bad thing, and that night James Franco is trying to steal the money, and the son is reluctantly giving it to him in this safe. What ends up happening though is something ends up happening to Dennis Quaid, and the younger brother and his brother just got out of prison are on the run, and they have this gun, of course, in the back of the car still, because when he was junking and he found it. But essentially though, it's all about James Franco and then his group of all the bad guys with him trying to come after and find the brother and the younger brother, as well as these 2 aliens that came down to get the gun back, coming after them along the way. And it's kind of like a road picture. That's sort of what it is, but all the kind of stuff that happens along the way. But honestly though, I really got into this movie, and it's it wasn't exactly what I thought it was, because the trailers kind of made it sort of seem kind of like an Earth to Echo kind of movie, but it wasn't that kind of thing, more of a kids type film, but it really was not like that at all. And James Franco plays this really bad, ruthless guy in this movie, but really good effects and stuff of this gun, when they are showing how it works and everything. But honestly though, Zoe Kravitz is in this movie as well, but I really got into this movie. Has a whole bunch of different features on here. It was based on a short film, and they actually have the short film on here. It has a 8-part documentary making of. It has a thing on here about the visual effects. It has a commentary track on here with the directors, as well as deleted scenes. 4K wise though, looks really good on 4K. It's a very visual film with the effects of the gun and everything. So all that stuff really benefit with I always say too, the big thing is HDR with 4K. So you really notice the higher contrast levels and the deeper richness of the colors, and also I always have said in the past too, much brighter picture. Everything is feel like it's much boosted. Just a really good movie. If you guys have seen this one too, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this. The next one here is from Dread Central, and this is from Epic Pictures and their Dread Central Presents line. And I have a link below where you guys can order this. You can get this on their website. It's also, I believe, on Amazon as well, and it's a movie here called Lasso. And this is probably my favorite next to Terrifier of the Dread Central Presents releases that they've done so far. And this is basically though about this retirement group, goes on a trip to this dude ranch kind of rodeo show, and it's the 2 younger guys, this girl and this guy who work there, kind of taking care of the residents of this old folks home, and they're kind of there watching them and everything, and taking them to this dude ranch rodeo show. But at this thing, essentially what it is they all watch the show and everything seems fine, but the one woman accidentally dropped her brush and it fell behind the bleachers. So right when they're getting ready to leave, the one guy has to go back, and he's the main actor who was in the Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. And that girl actress, she was from, I I think, you know, that show Chastity, the film Chastity Bites, and a TV series as well. I can't remember what it was, but Chastity Bites is where I remembered seeing her before. But essentially, though, it's about, you know, right when he goes back to get this brush, he gets back to the RV thing, or like the bus type thing, and these crazy, like, rodeo people are, like, attacking this woman and, like, shooting at them and, like throwing these crazy lassos that have, like, spikes on the end of them. And what ends up happening, though, is they end up getting away, and he ends up running off and, like, hiding out, and then ends up getting, like, thrown into this pen with all these other people. And, like, basically what's going on is everybody at this rodeo, a group of them, have gone crazy, and they're, like, for some reason, you find out throughout this movie what they're doing, but they've gone absolutely nuts, and it's a total, absolutely, like, gory kind of movie. And Sean Patrick Sean Patrick Flannery, you know, from the Boondock Saints films. He is in here as a one-armed cowboy, and, like, you know, he's one of those kind of people that's, like, you know, trying to help them. And I don't know, this is just such a fun movie. I love the setting of this movie. I like these kind of movies where they don't take themselves too seriously. They've got, like, comedy aspects to them as well, and it's just, like, some goofy stuff happening. I always really love comedy horror. I like that. To me, that's some of the most fun type of films to watch. Has on here, though, you know, interviews on here with the cast and crew, director's commentary, deleted scenes, bloopers. Definitely check this one out, though. Another one, if you guys have watched that one, let me know what you thought. The next one here is from Warner Brothers. They sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know about. And this is the film here, Crazy Rich Asians, which I saw this movie in theaters as well. Another movie that you guys definitely have got to watch. This movie did really well, if you guys didn't know, and I believe there's going to be a sequel to this, which I'm really interested in seeing, you know, how the sequel, you know, how it is. This is essentially, though, about this girl who's getting married. You know, she just got engaged, and she's going to be going to see her, you know, future husband's family in China. And essentially, though, like, she kind of thinks that this guy doesn't have a lot of money. She doesn't know too much about his background, but she comes to find out right when she gets on the plane with him that he actually comes from all this money, and he's super, super rich, and, like, you know, but, you know, she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. So when she gets there, though, it's this totally different type of life, and, like, his mother is, like, really unapproving to her because he's going there for his friend's wedding, so that's why he asked her to come along, and that's a way too to meet the, you know, his family and everything. But of course, though, the mother, though, is not accepting to her, and it's kind of all about her being totally like the black sheep of the whole thing, being there and kind of looked down upon, and, like, she's sort of trying to figure out how she's going to prove herself to the mother and, like, kind of be accepted. I also love Awkwafina's in this movie playing her friend, and, like, I don't know, I love this stuff with her, and it's a really, really fun movie. I really, really like this one a lot. Like I said, I'm really interested in seeing the sequel and how they, you know, go with it and, like, what it would be about, since this one was all about meeting, you know, his family. This has, though, a commentary track on here with the director as well as the novelist who wrote the book. It has a featurette on here, deleted scenes, and a gag reel. The next one here is from Universal, and it's a movie starring Mark Wahlberg, Mile 22. Another thing that was kind of fun about this movie was, and it was so cool to see the guy again, the one actor that was in the movie Hurricane Streets, and he was also in the Strangers with Candy movie, but I always remember him from Hurricane Streets, you know, when he was like a teenager. It was cool to see him in this movie because I hadn't seen him in something in a long time. But this is basically, though, about Mark Wahlberg working for this, like, it's like a group of, like, they're sort of with the CIA, but they're kind of, like, totally not known. The like, kind of, like, not on the radar. They're all basically ghosts, like, where no one really knows who they are. Almost sort of like, you know, they'd say, like, in the Men in Black, where these, like, people know, you know, nothing about them, you know, nothing about their background, and if, like, they're, like, seen on security cameras and stuff like that, they erase their footage and everything. But essentially, though, it's Mark Wahlberg's character and this team. At the beginning of this movie, though, they're trying to infiltrate this house with these, you know, supposed Russians that were kind of, like, planning something bad or something, but it wasn't exactly what they thought, and it didn't go perfectly. But essentially, though, in this, though, you know, like, the group that they're working with is not always have everything figured out exactly, or they think they do, and there's kind of mistakes that happen. But in this, though, there's a certain person who knows where these, it was like something, like certain type of weaponry, I think it was like these explosives that were, like, could take out this huge area, like hundreds, like, big square miles and stuff, and they have to try and figure out where it is, but they found someone that's kind of come to their compound where they are and says that he can lead them to it. It's kind of them having to keep keep him safe and stuff. This has on here, though, a bunch of different featurettes on the film. Ronda Rousey also acts in this movie. She did a really good job in this film. John Malkovich is in this movie. This has behind the stunts and trailers on here, as well as like a bunch of different stunts and the fighting featurettes on this one as well. This one is also from Universal, and this is the original Christmas specials collection, the Raskin Bass. I think it's Rankin Bass presents the original Christmas special collection, and this is all on Blu-ray. And this has on here, it has 3 of them that I was familiar with, and then 2 that I had not really known of in the past. And it has in here Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you know, which is like the classic one with burl eyes. It has Frosty the Snowman, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which was Mickey Rooney in that one. And I watched these so many times as a kid, but then the ones I didn't know was Little Drummer Boy and the Cricket on the Hearth. That's one I did not know about. I don't feel like that one had played that much in the past or something. It has, they're all on individual discs in here, but it has on here lots of different features on here. It has an all-new documentary celebrating the legacy of these holiday specials by Arthur Rankin and Jules Bass, restoring the puppets of Rudolph. They're talking about the puppets, you know, where they are now and restoring them, reimagining Rudolph in 4D, behind-the-scenes look at Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer attraction, which I don't know where that is. That's kind of a cool thing. Frosty the Snowman, original pencil test, commentaries on Frosty the Snowman and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. So tons of features on these, but a really, really cool set in here. Like I said, the 2 ones on here, Drummer Boy and Cricket of Hearth, on the Hearth, like I said, those are ones I never really had heard of in the past. So it's cool that those ones are included on there. And the next one I got here is from Magnolia Home Entertainment. This movie here is a top recommendation, absolute must watch. It's a movie called Skate Kitchen. This is about, and it's actually was based on a short film the director did a couple years back, and these are actually, all the girls in this are real skateboarders, and they actually are real friends, and we're in this actual group together called the Skate Kitchen. But it's essentially, though, it's about this one girl who ends up, you know, is really into skateboarding, but her mother is like telling her, you know, shouldn't do it, because she got injured at the beginning of the movie, and she's like, she doesn't want her doing it. But she sort of sneaks out and meets these girls, and she finds them on Instagram because she's following them on there. And it's kind of her going and becoming friends with these girls and skateboarding, and kind of becomes like her life is going out every day, seeing them. But then she's got all sorts of like problems with her mother, and then like figuring out where she's gonna live because she doesn't want to stay with her mother anymore. And the mother is, because the mother is like, even though this girl is like 18, the mother is really like trying to tell her what to do with her life, and like I said, not wanting her to be skateboarding. But this is just such an authentic skateboarding movie. You know, everything about this movie, you know, and you, like the clothes and the wardrobe and everything, and everybody's got Supreme decks and like Supreme clothes and everything. I don't know, it was just really, really well done. I thought all these girls too, because I think this is like their first, because they did the short film, but I think this is their first feature that they did. Hopefully they all continue on acting, because they did an amazing job in this movie. But it has on here, though, deleted scenes, behind the scene looks on here, and also Jaden Smith is in here playing one of the guys that one of the girls starts to date, and he did a really good job in this movie as well. But like I said, top recommendation, just a really good, sort of like a vibe film of kids a little bit. Some of the locations too was all set in New York, but really, really well done. Really love that movie. The next one here is from Paramount. They also sent over this cool promo item to show you guys with it for Scrooge, the 30th anniversary. It's a ornament here, and you have Bill Murray on the back. I don't know, this is another one of those movies I watched this ever since I was a kid. It's crazy to think that this is 30 years old now. And this is about Bill Murray's character, who is like this really mean kind of producer, who's producing a new version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and he's kind of modernizing it and kind of like, you know, making some really weird changes to it. He doesn't really care about what he's doing, and he doesn't really care about his employees, Bill Murray's character, and he's like I said, he's really mean to everybody. And it's like, you know, it's like, you know, even though he's making Scrooge in real life, his character is a Scrooge guy, and he ends up basically going through, like in Christmas Carol, seeing his future, and like seeing, you know, his, like looking back at his past, looking at like, you know, people, how he's, you know, that he's been mean to and everything, their life and everything. It's like I said, it's like a remake of, or an interpretation of Christmas Carol. Even though they're making that, he's living through that in his own life because of, you know, witnessing his own future demise and everything by seeing the Ghost of Christmas Past and everything. It is a really fun movie. I always have loved this this movie. Bill Murray is so fun in this movie. Definitely though, like I said, just want you guys know this is the brand new version. It's released. It has the Blu-ray, the DVD, as well as the digital copy of the film. This one is from Paramount as well. There's some cool TV sets here, and this is the complete series here of Rocko's Modern Life, and this is the brand new release of this. And I love the, it's like done like a TV set inside here, and I'll show you guys. It opens up like this, and it has the entire series of the show. This is another one that it also has a poster in here, a fold-out poster for the show as well. I can't wait too. I don't know when it's airing, or maybe I missed it. There was going to be the Rocko movie that was going to be on TV. Maybe that already aired and I just didn't know, but I don't know if it did or not. But Rocko's Modern Life is one of those things that I grew up watching as a kid. This has the entire show in here, though. Like I said, all the seasons of the show together in one big set here. But this is one of those things I grew up watching as a kid. And it's kind of about Rocko and his friend Heifer and like all the kind of adventures they go on. Each episode, I think it has like, remember, it's like 2 episodes. Some of them are a little longer, and it's like, 30 minutes long. And it's just basically, Rocko and his like adventures and like working where he works at this comic book store, and his neighbor, Ed Bighead. And he's always got like problems, with him, like fighting with Ed. And it's like, Ed Bighead's wife's like, "Oh, Ed." It's just a really, really fun show. It's one of those things, not really something you can explain to her. You kind of have to have grown up watching it, and if you liked it, you like it. But, I don't know if you never saw it in the past, how much you'd like it, but I absolutely love it. And also a new set here as well. It's the complete collection here of Hey Arnold. And this one, it actually has some brand new stuff, which I don't think had ever been on anything in the past. Let me know if it had, but I'm pretty sure it's brand new. It has Hey Arnold the pilot, the original clay animation short, Arnold Escapes from Church, Drawing Arnold, the Jungle Movie table read, and then unboxing the original Jungle Movie development art, which I think the Jungle Movie ones might have been on the DVD of that when that came out, because that was the new movie with Arnold going to look for his parents. Because you guys know the show, the big thing was always what happened to Arnold's parents. That was a big theme of the show. But Hey Arnold, though, was about this kid who's living in the city, and it's all about his adventures with his friends at school and his crazy grandfather. And it's another really, really fun show. But in here, though, it also includes all the seasons of the show. It has actually a letter too from the creator of the show, a brand new letter in here. But it has all of the seasons of the show. I think it was 5 seasons, 5 seasons. It also has the Hey Arnold movie, as well as, like I said, the Hey Arnold Jungle movie, which just recently aired like a year or so back, which I actually liked that one a lot. I thought that it was cool to see all the characters back and everything. The next one here is from Paramount as well. This is the complete series here of the show Scorpion, which is one I saw. I got the 4th season of this to review a couple months back when that first came out, but I was really glad to get this whole set of all this, because I was watching a bunch of episodes of this, and it's essentially, though, about these people all together who have this Robert Patrick's character, when he was like, he worked with this kid in the beginning of this who helped him solve something bad that happened. He was like a super smart kid, but years later he finds this kid again, and he needs to stop. There is a plane, all the kind of navigation on the plane has been shut down, so they can't land the planes. So he has to find this kid again, and this kid is working with these guys that are like super smart hackers, but they have like abilities to solve things that other people wouldn't. But he ends up, finding this kid again now years later, and he's also, this kid has worked with these other kids, like I said, who have the similar type of conditions with certain things that they're better in than others. And together, though, they help stop this planes and get them back online again. But he ends up saying, well, you guys are really good at what you're doing. I'd like to have you be this task force that's working with me to help, stop other situations that happen. Essentially, that's what this is them all working together to stop, casualties and all sorts of things from happening. It's actually a fun show. Like I said, I was watching through a bunch of episodes of this. Always love Robert Patrick, who is from Terminator 2. And it has on here, though, deleted scenes on here, gag reels, geeky gadgets, because they have a bunch of different gadgets and stuff on the show, commentary tracks, a bunch of different featurettes from the show. And like I said, in here, it has the entire 4 seasons of the show in this one. Like I said, just want you guys know that this one was available as well. The next two here, I'll have a link where you guys can order these ones for the best price. This is a movie too, another top recommendation, and I never saw this before, and I was so glad to get to finally see this. And it's a movie starring Cameron Diaz and Courtney B. Vance is in this movie. Ron Perlman is in the movie, and it's called The Last Supper. Another one. If you guys have watched this movie, let me know what you thought. I like these dark comedies that Cameron Diaz does. Like, also, Very Bad Things was one of my other favorite movies that she did that you don't hear about too often. And I hopefully one day that comes to Blu-ray. That's an amazing movie that a lot of people really don't like, or a lot of people really love. But this is basically, though, about a group of these friends who are kind of like, they're all in like graduate school together, and they have these dinners, every, I think like on the weekends and stuff. They always get together for these dinners, and they all live together as well in this one house. But essentially, though, they invite somebody to kind of talk to, like, that's not really somebody that they like, that's, like, has a different views on life and stuff than they do. So they invite them over and kind of talk to them and stuff. But the one day, though, they end up inviting Bill Paxton's character over. And Bill Paxton's character, like, he came in there, and he was, like, acting really weird, and he was saying some crazy stuff. And what ends up happening, though, is he ends up pulling out this knife, and then the one guy ends up stabbing Bill Paxton's character. And from this happening, they all come together and say, you know what, we should have a thing where, we killed this one person, it was an accident, they were self-defense, but we should have people come over now that we don't like really badly, like really disagree with, that have terrible views and like against things, and are like, and invite them over and then kill them and then bury them in the backyard. So they're basically inviting people over and then killing these people. And that's essentially what this is. And it kind of has the vibe, a little bit of the movie Shallow Grave, a little bit, so like a little bit of that whole vibe. Some of them are not so sure about this whole thing that's happening and like why they're doing this. And like, they're supposed to give these people a chance to kind of change their views, and if they change their views, they won't kill them. And the way they're killing them, though, is they, put arsenic in one of the wines. They have the I think it was the blue bottle was the one that they put the arsenic in. But this was a really, really well done movie. I really like the music in this as well. I was looking online too. It doesn't seem like you can find that music for this at all, like the score. And the next one here, I'll have a link for as well, where you can order this one for the best price. This is a movie starring Emilio Estevez and Mick Jagger and Anthony Hopkins called Free Jack. This is an interesting movie that I had never seen in the past. I remember seeing like the poster and like seeing like the DVD of this one in the past, but I had never seen this. And Mick Jagger actually did a really good job in this movie from the Rolling Stones. And this is essentially, though, about Mick Jagger's character, who is bringing basically Emilio Estevez is a race car driver, and he's like this, for one reason or another, they want to bring him to the future, because in the future they have like this thing where they can take somebody who's really sick and like die, or have basically just died, and like they can keep their like soul alive, and they transfer it into a healthy body. And for one reason or another, this person that's like recently died or like about to die wants to be transferred into Emilio Estevez's body, and he gets transferred to the past, and it's about him like on the run, trying to get away from Mick Jagger's character coming after him, and trying to figure out where he's going to hide out. And he's like, it's the future. It's like a little bit into the future. So he's also trying to find people that he might know in the future as well. But really, really well done. Pretty interesting movie. This has a theatrical trailer on this one as well. And the next one here is from Artsploitation Films. It's a movie here called Lucifernia. I believe I'm saying that right. I'm not 100% sure, though. It's about this girl who's living in a convent, who's like, she's kind of in the early stages of thinking that she might become a nun. She's pretty much like hiding away there. She hasn't seen her family for years. I think it's like 2 or 3 years. And she ends up finding out, though, that her mother had passed away. So she goes back to see her family, because she hasn't seen them forever, and see the sister and the father. But she comes to find out, though, that the father is really sick, and he's like in like a coma type state, and he's all messed up, and something had happened to him. And like the sister, who she hasn't seen in years, is like blaming her, saying, you abandoned this family, and like this has all happened because of you, and you brought like evil into this family and all this kind of stuff. And this girl also has the ability to sort of see weird things. She starts like see these weird kind of like aura type shapes and stuff when she sees certain people. And she immediately too, when she goes back, she starts having these like really weird trippy dreams and everything. But essentially, though, it's about her and her sister planning on going out into the jungle to try and find this type of like this sort of drug that they're going to do to sort of see if that can help fix what's happening in this family and kind of correct things. Essentially, that's what it is. But of course, though, out there, though, really, really creepy stuff happens. It is very, very creepy movie. Really well, super atmospheric movie on here, but definitely one I would highly recommend you guys check out. This one here is from Cinedigm. It's a movie here called The Domestics, which stars Kate Bosworth. And this is about set in the future. It's like a post-apocalyptic movie where there was like these planes that were sent over to kind of like, and they dumped this like gas that had killed most of the population. It was intended to like wipe out pretty much everybody, but there was a number of people who ended up being immune from this and didn't die. And the whole world is broken off into kind of different factions where like Kate Bosworth and her husband's character are the domestics, who are kind of like sort of like living just like the way things were before everyone had died and a number of people had died. But then there's also people who are like the killers, people who wear these crazy sheets, and like all these different types of factions where some are out, you know, kind of like out for, like, they're kind of like all these different types of people. And it's essentially, though, about her and her husband are planning to try and get to another area, try and start over. But along the way, it's like it's like driving through these areas, they're coming across all these types of bad people along the way, and it's about them trying to survive. The movie has like a vibe of like, and it says on here too, like it's Mad Max meets The Purge. It does have that kind of like craziness of the Purge films mixed with Mad Max kind of vibe, but all about sort of like a survival type film. It has on here though behind the scenes on here, deleted scenes with a commentary track on here, as well as a theatrical trailer on this one. This one here is from the BBC, and it's the 3-disc set here of the original The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This has a bunch of features on here, but I remember seeing The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the film. I think it was from like 2005, I believe. I hardly remember it, but I remember actually thinking it was a pretty cool movie. This is though about this the world is ending, and this guy, he's basically was friends with this guy he didn't know was an alien, and he's gonna end up sparing him and taking him off the planet to survive. And they kind of leave the planet, and it's like a super, like, it's just like a really funny thing, because it's like it has this fun cheesy quality to like the aliens and like the sets and everything, and he goes and like comes across these aliens. It's kind of like all the things that he comes across while he's in the galaxy with his friend who he didn't know was an alien, and it's just kind of like all the adventures they go on. But it's a really fun, over the top, goofy series, and it has on here disc 1, it has the series of the show. It also has on disc 2 the making of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It has on here deleted scenes from episode 2, outtakes. It also has on here animation featurette on here. It has all kinds of different things on here. A trailer for the Radio Times, because I believe this series was actually based on a radio show. And inside of here, though, it has the episode guide and a booklet with some of the pictures and stuff from the episodes. As you can see, too, they're real crazy, over-the-top type of aliens and stuff in this show. Like I said, I need to go and watch that movie again as well, because I remember thinking, though, the movie was actually pretty cool. The next one here, though, is from a company called Albelos. I'll have a link below, though, for the company, and it's the movie that Dennis Hopper made called The Last Movie. This is the movie, too. I remember hearing about this because there was a documentary that was being made while, I think it was like American Dreamer it was called, and it was about Dennis Hopper making this movie, and this movie had like a lot of problems, and I remember it didn't do very well when it came out, and it's kind of a film that had been pretty much unseen. It was from 50 years that it was kind of like never really didn't have a big release or anything. And it's a really interesting the way the movie is made, because it's like it's done in like not a super normal narrative kind of way. It like cuts back and forth, and the editing is kind of like different and not what you're expecting, and it's like about making this movie, and it, like I said, it cuts from like footage of the movie, and then it cuts to like behind the scenes of making it, but like the troubles that are going on when making it, and like the area where they're filming it, the kind of like I think they filmed this in, it was supposed to be like, I think it was in Peru, and then like the villagers there don't know what's going on, and they're kind of mimicking the stuff that's happening. It's a really interesting, different movie. It has on here, though, a making of documentary, a brand new making of documentary. It's a 30-minute portrait on Dennis Hopper on here. But this is just really cool to see, because like I said, it was something that Dennis Hopper made. You know, he did this after Easy Rider, like a year or so after. And it's just interesting. It has an interesting story behind the whole thing. This one here is from Doppelganger Releasing, and it's a movie here called Heavy Trip. This is a Norwegian film, and it's about this this death metal rock band, and it's kind of like done like sort of like a parody a little bit, and it's like they all kind of have like all the kind of characters have like their own kind of quirks and stuff, and they're really trying to be successful. The one lead singer though isn't so sure about things. He's kind of questioning the band, but you know, if they can really go anywhere with this music or anything, and if they can, you know, grow or anything. But they end up getting invited to this festival, but it ends up being like it doesn't work out exactly as they think, and it's kind of a road movie about them along the way, but things go really, really wrong, and they come across all sorts of obstacles and problems and everything. It's a really, really fun movie. Another one I would recommend you guys check out. Has on here though bonus scenes and a blooper reel. It has on here Heavy Trip Goes to Texas. A bunch of different featurettes on this one, but a really interesting movie. The last one here is from Mondo Macabro, and it's a movie from Lucio Fulci. I think this was from like 1969, and it was shot in San Francisco. It's a movie here called Perversion Story. This is before, you know, Fulci started doing like, came into more horror films. This was more, he was doing more like erotic thrillers and stuff like that. But like after Zombies, when he really, really got into doing a lot of horror films. This is basically though about this guy who was cheating on his wife, and his wife ended up, you know, something ended up, you know, she had like was really asthmatic, and she has to take this certain type of medicine, but the wife ended up dying, and it became like a real suspicious thing though, that like if this husband could have anything to do with it. But then the one night the husband is at this strip club, and he ends up seeing this dancer that looks like exactly like his wife, and it becomes this real interesting like intricate thing of like, wait, what is going on, and how's he seen this woman that looks exactly like his wife, and it becomes this whole interesting thing, and it's also him being questioned by the cops and everything. This has on here though a HD transfer from the original negative. It has the extended European version of the film on here as well, as well as interviews on here with some of the actors. But actually a pretty interesting one. I'm always a fan too of Fulci, so really cool to see that one. Anyway though guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.